Welcome to Small Business, Big Network, the podcast for small business owners who want big results from their networking. I'm Liz Drury, a freelance voiceover artist who knows that if you're not working, then networking could help. Sasha Core is a successful salon owner who has increased the profits of her salon by taking herself out of the day-to-day running of the business. She now teaches other salon owners to do this through the Salon Owners Club. Thank you very much for being my guest on the podcast today, Sasha.
Pleasure. Thank you so much for having me here, Liz. I really appreciate it.
Now, I'm really looking forward to finding out more about the Salon Owners Club, but I want to talk about you a bit first and your background. Have you always worked in the beauty business?
I have. So I went to college when I was 16, and so I've been in the beauty industry now since the age of 18, and I'm 39 now, so a long time.
What was it that attracted you to this sector?
I dipped into the beauty industry at 16, and then I went back to sixth form and actually then carried on my business course. So from there, because I was doing the business, everybody around me said, Sasha, you should go to university. You'll have a better career if you go to university. So I thought, well, okay, I'll just apply and I'll do a business degree at university. But my heart was not in it at all. And so I started to look around and I thought, I just don't want to. I really, really enjoyed the beauty side. So I had a look around and I found it was a HND in beauty therapy science, so it's a little bit of a level higher. And so this was a month before I was supposed to go off to uni. I dropped out of that and I told everybody around me. I told my mum, my dad, my tutor, my business tutor what I was going to do. And one of the things he actually said to me was, I'll never forget this. He said, oh, Sasha, you're better than that.
Oh.
Yes. And I just thought, I'm going to prove to you. I'm going to prove to you one day. And so I did. And it was absolutely the best thing I ever did. I loved every minute of it. I've always loved every minute of it. And I just think it's a great industry to be part of. And, over these last, 20 years, the industry itself has changed dramatically. Yeah. And I actually think I'm in probably one of the most powerful industries. It's growing and growing more and more every year worldwide. And I don't think it's going anywhere.
Yeah, what a short-sighted teacher.
I know. I'm like, well, look at me now. I've never forgotten that.
Yeah. So tell me about the next stage of your journey. So you finished your training. What happened next?
So finished my training, and then I got a job in my local hometown, and at that time there were only 2 salons in the entire town. So I was very fortunate. I worked for a wonderful, wonderful lady called Jackie. She had really high standards. She had a great clientele, offered brilliant services. And so, I worked there full time, and I was there for about 5 years. So I'd built up all my skills and my experience and definitely learned from one of the best. And she said to me one day, she said, oh, Sasha, she'd had her salon 20 years at this point. She said, I'm going to semi-retire. I'm going to close the salon and I'm going to work from home a couple of days a week. I was like, oh gosh, okay. So I thought, right, well, I'm going to be made redundant here. What should I do now? And I had 2 options, really. It was, well, find a job in another salon, if I could, or try it out on my own. And I just thought, why not? I'll give it a go. I don't really have much to lose because I'm going to be out of a job soon anyway. And so I just rented a small room within a hair salon. So it's a thriving hair salon, had a great team, and I hired a little room upstairs initially. And it was great. I was living off adrenaline and delusion at that point for sure. But I just threw my absolute everything into it. I wanted it to be successful. I loved what I did. I loved working with people, making people feel good. And over the first year, it really just took off. And I was, starting 8 in the morning, finishing at 10 o'clock at night, but I was loving it. I was loving every minute of it. I could not believe how lucky I was. And so, this went on for a couple of years. And I spoke to the owner of the salon and I said, I think I might have to move out because I really do need somebody else to help me now. You know, I'm struggling to do everything. And so, bless them, they were really lovely. They actually extended my space. So I had 3 treatment rooms. So I took on another team member. And then about a year after that, I took on another team member. So there was 3 of us. And we were all really busy. We were all fully booked. It was brilliant. It was a great atmosphere. I loved it. And then, so I must have been there about 5 years, 5, 6 years. And then again, we outgrew the space. And I just thought, oh, I've got this vision. You know, I want my own salon, I want my own building. I want to be able to create my own type of experience, expand my services, my offerings. And so, yeah, I moved in to our own place, which we're still in today. So we've been there a long time now. Yeah, and it's been great. Look, don't get me wrong. It's been a roller coaster. Every step, everything new is comes with its ups and downs. So we've definitely ridden that roller coaster, and I'm sure we'll continue to. Yeah. You know, business is business at the end of the day.
So when you took on your own salon, how was the dream versus the reality?
Oh, very different. Very different. So I think I was quite maybe spoilt and had it a bit cushy where I was, because at that point rent was low. I only really had rent, so that was low. I hadn't at this point hit the VAT threshold. And then when I moved into where we are now, it was a 3-story property. It needed tons of renovations. That's cost me thousands of pounds. I then had a lot more overheads. I had my rent, but then I had everything else that came with that. I had more team members. We then hit the VAT threshold. And it went from being what felt like a really great, successful business to almost overnight, oh my gosh, how am I going to survive? Even though we were fully booked, we were really busy. So that was a really difficult, very difficult time that actually I went through for a number of years, just pushing, just thinking if I worked a bit harder, if I did a bit more, eventually it will change because we're busy. So what, you know, I don't really understand what's going wrong here. Yes, it was a really difficult time back then.
Yeah, and I know you did end up in debt. What was it that, when did things change and how did they change?
So I would say probably the first year of being in the new salon was great. It was great. I was living on a high. And then the VAT threshold came, and I think back then I was young, and I wasn't actually a businesswoman. I was a beauty therapist. I was great at my craft and my skill and looking after clients, but I had zero knowledge of running an actual business and running a profitable business. So because of that, I was terrified to do anything different because I didn't know what different would mean, what the outcome would be. So even when we hit the VAT threshold, I personally took the 20% hit because I was terrified of putting that cost onto the clients. And that was just one thing that held me back. You know, I didn't employ the right team members. I would pay people what they wanted to be paid because I thought, well, I'd rather have you than not. And so I made really, really terrible decisions. And so this went on for a number of years, and I literally I would say I did almost hit breaking point because I was so exhausted. Everything had broken down around me. You know, relationships were breaking down. I didn't have time for family, for friends. Work had to come first because I was in survival mode. And so I didn't really care about anything else because I had to make this work. And so over that time, to try and keep us afloat, like you say, I got myself into debt. I ended up racking up £25,000 worth of debt, which then just gave me even more anxiety. And I got to a stage and I thought, why am I doing this? I love it, but why? Because there's no reward. I am sacrificing absolutely everything. We're busy, so I don't know what I can do different. So I ended up I thought, I need to invest in somebody that can teach me how to run a business and how to run a profitable business, because I'm obviously doing something very wrong here. And that's exactly what I did. I invested a further £18,000 in myself, which everybody around me said I was crazy for doing something. That, Sasha, you're already struggling. But I just knew, I thought, this is my last lifeline, because if I don't do anything different, if I don't educate myself, then nothing's going to change in 6 months, a year, or 2 years' time.
Yeah.
And it was honestly, it was the best thing I've ever done, and I've continued to invest in myself ever since.
So who was it that you worked with to figure things out?
So, funny story. So he's actually my other half now. So yeah, his name's Adam Stott. He's an amazing entrepreneur. He's got years of experience in business, and he actually helps, thousands of business owners across the UK, even worldwide he has done. And yeah, he's phenomenal. So yeah, I worked with him. Well, I suppose I still do in a way, but but yeah, he's been great. He was really great.
So what did you change, and what is your relationship to your business now?
So, completely different. Completely different. So now I actually haven't worked in my salon for the last 4 years. And I don't really, it sounds terrible, but I don't really have to do much for it now, because I've worked so hard on building a model that doesn't need me and isn't reliant on me to perform and function.
Yeah.
So I've got a brilliant team, amazing team, and everyone knows their role. Everyone knows what needs to be done. And I am the business owner. So
Yeah.
I am now the visionary. I know where I want to take the business. I know what has to be done. And I work on the behind the scenes more now.
Do you miss working with the clients?
I do. I really, really missed it initially when I first came out, because I suppose, as time goes on, as an entrepreneur, you learn, don't you, as you go. And I did learn over time that, Sasha, you need to be out of the treatment room and working on the business to actually make a difference.
Yeah.
And so I did do that initially. I had 2 days a week where I worked on the business, and I started to see the results. And so actually I thought, right, now's the time I need to come out full time, like 5 days a week needs to be working on the business rather than in it. And so when I first came out, I had a real identity crisis. I really missed the clients. That was all I'd known for years. I loved my clients. I spent more time with the clients than I did my own family and friends. I knew them inside out. They knew me inside out. And you build such a special bond. And when your clients have supported you for 10 years or more, to walk away from them, it felt sad. It felt really sad. And I did go through a big identity crisis, thinking, who even am I now?
Yeah.
But now it's been 4 years, and I do miss them, but I do still keep in touch with some of them. I reach out and have a little chat on Instagram or whatever and see how they're doing. But yeah, I've just got into a new way of life now.
Yeah. And I know now you teach other people to do what you've done through the Salon Owners Club. So tell us how the Salon Owners Club came about and how it works.
Of course. So yeah, it was going through this identity crisis when I first left, and I was speaking to Adam. I was like, I just feel like I just don't know really know what to do with myself now. And I miss people, I miss talking to people. That job was very sociable. And now I was working from home at the dining room table all day alone. And it felt very, very lonely. And with Adam and what he does, he had some salon owners and, many other different business owners. And he said, Sash, why don't you do a little bit of coaching for me? Help some of my clients out, because you're great at what you do. I think it'd really help them. So I started to do that, and I loved it. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm back. My fire is back.
Yeah.
And I loved it, helping them get results and seeing them grow. And so I did that for, a few years. And then I thought, I think I want to do this myself now. A lot of people in my industry, and look, it's not just the beauty industry, it's that business is difficult. But in our industry, most salon owners that I speak to are all living the same story. They are often very busy, but they are still having to do absolutely everything, and there is minimal profit. A lot of salon owners have a really successful salon from the outside, but actually they're not even paying themselves anything. And that's exactly where I was. And I just thought, look, I've managed to get out of the salon. I've managed to generate more profits, more revenue. I've been able to do this with some of Adam's clients, so I know I can help people. And I just thought, I'm on this mission now. I just want to help as many salon owners as I possibly can to make more revenue, to get more profits, to be able to pay themselves more, but to actually build a business that isn't reliant on them.
Yeah.
Because, many of us in the industry, we end up running a business and we fall into that role. We don't actually have any business experience.
Yeah. Yeah. So tell me how the model works. Who are your members and where are they?
Yeah, so it's UK, all over the UK. I work as a one-to-one salon consultant. The reason I work as a one-to-one is because I want to be able to get the salon owners I work with quick results. And, over the years, I've invested heavily in myself in education, and I've tried one-to-one and I've tried group memberships. And group memberships have always been great. I've always learned things, but they've never been specific or bespoke, because it is more of a one thing too many type education. Whereas when you work one-to-one, I can get into their business. I can look at their specific numbers, their specific team, their specific clients, their treatments, and actually also get to their vision. What does this business owner, this salon owner, what do they actually want? Both for the business, but for themselves personally. So that's why I like to work one-to-one, because I treat it more like a partnership. I'm in their business with them. We really get our teeth into it. And whatever vision they want, we then work backwards from that and we make that happen.
Yeah. And what kind of results are people seeing after working with you?
Brilliant results. So most of my clients that come in are stressed. Highly stressed. They're doing absolutely everything. They're not making a lot of money. And so many of my clients, within a month, one lady I worked with, she did a 93% revenue increase in 1 month. So and sometimes it's the smallest tweaks we need to make that make the hugest difference in a business. Other salon owners I work with, they're making £20,000 off a couple of emails that they send out to their database. Salon owners are now coming out of their column. They were tied to 5-6 days a week. Now they're only working 1 or 2. I've got some ladies that don't work any days in the salon anymore. So yeah, it's very good. I really love it.
Yeah. And you've come a long way from being £25,000 in debt, haven't you?
Thank God. Yeah, it was a tough time, very tough time.
Yeah. So will you work with any salon owner? And if not, how do you choose who to work with?
No, I don't. Because I work one-to-one, I'm very aware that I can only work with a handful of people at one time in order to be able to give my very best to each of them. So the people I like to work with are established salon owners. It's not their first rodeo. They've been in this for a while. They've got a team. They've got a good client base. They are established. But one of the most important things that I ask from the salon owners I work with is for their commitment, because I am fully committed to each and every one of them. I want the results more than they often want the results. So all I ask, and one of the things that's the most important to me, is that they're committed.
Yeah.
They're going to do the work, and they want this to win.
Yeah, yeah. So it sounds like the Salon Owners Club you've built a great network there. How have you built your network?
So, a variety of things, really. Definitely going to networking events, business events, networking shows, beauty shows, trainings as well. And I'll be completely honest, networking, even to this day, gives me that little bit of anxiety beforehand. I always get a little bit nervous. I always have that little voice in my head saying, should you really go, Sasha? But it is one of the best things for business, because if you're not having conversations with people, your business is not going to grow. And those conversations can be with potential clients. Those conversations can be with other business owners where maybe you can connect and do, joint ventures. So, yeah, I think they are brilliant.
Yeah. So what have you gained from networking?
So, it's brought me many things, really. I think one of the biggest things through networking is actually opening my eyes to what is possible. Because I think when you work alone, you're in your own little world and you only know what's possible from what you're doing and the performance you're achieving. But actually, when you do start to network with different people, putting yourself in those rooms where there are people who are doing better than you, I think you learn so much about what is possible and what actually you can be capable of.
Yeah. So is networking something that you recommend to your members?
I do say to them, look, get yourself out there. I actually think it's good to be around other business owners. So you can share where you're at, see what's working for other people, see what you can bring and implement into your own business. So I do. Some of them get themselves out there, and then there's others that tell me, no, Sasha, I'm not doing that. But they do. A lot of them, they really enjoy beauty shows. They really enjoy the hair and beauty shows because, it's a nice experience to be around all the other salon owners.
Yeah. So my final question then, Sasha, if people are interested in the Salon Owners Club, what's the best place for them to find you?
So the best place would probably actually be my Instagram, which is just at the Salon Owners Club. So they can send me a DM on there. There's a link where they can also, fill out an application form and I can get in touch with them that way.
Lovely. Well, thank you very much for being my guest today.
Oh, thank you so much for having me, Liz. I really thoroughly enjoyed it.
Thanks for listening to Small Business, Big Network. If you found this podcast useful, please do rate, review and subscribe. And don't forget to share it with the rest of your network too.